I'm going to discuss chapter 123 of the manga because chapter 123, an important choice. I can really feel because a lot of connection to Emma here, given the situation that I am currently in right now. But because I have been discussing The Promised Neverland chapter by chapter cover in the past few days, I want to discuss one of my most favorite chapters in the series. And what's interesting, if you go to the fan translation of the manga, or the English translation, you're gonna see the colored cover chapter where the design for the Promised Neverland Japanese logo, the three vertical lines. I've read in the website, maybe in Kaio Shirai's or Shonen Jump or Shueisha website, those three lines, the designing the Japanese logo in the Promised Neverland title, it represents Emma, Ray, and Norman, their friendship together. What's interesting about this chapter is that the design, the three lines are vertically aligned. I don't know why it's vertically aligned. Normally, it would be diagonal. Normally, it's going to be diagonal and going through the word promise, the Japanese letters promise in the title, but then it's very interesting because how they designed it, and it's pointing to Norman. That's interesting because in the colored chapter cover, the three designs or the three lines normally designing the chapter title, it's pointing to Norman's head. Because Norman right now in this arc or in this series, he had a turn. He had a different attitude now. He's not supporting Emma's goals. He is kind of like going against Emma's accomplishments or going against Emma's plans to reforge the promise. It's very interesting how the trio, they started out as good friends during the jailbreak arc, having come a long way. This is chapter 123 now, and several arcs have already passed. Their friendship is being put to the test. This is what I love about the chapter cover, and it showcased on the chapter cover very beautifully with Ray and Norman opposing each other. I mean, when you look at it, their backs are turned to one another, and Emma is just straight facing the audience or the readers, looking at us as if she's asking what her decision should be, what her decision is now. With Emma being at the forefront of the chapter, really tells the readers that she's not going to change her decision. She's going to face the problem head on, no turning back, even if it's going to be against Norman's decisions or annihilation plan against the demons. So moving on, the reason why I'm going to cover this chapter is because Emma's conflicted. Even the slogan is saying a heart at conflict, swaying back and forth. That's the fan translation in the Japanese, in the fan translation of the manga. A heart at conflict, swaying back and forth. At this stage, Emma is asking Ray, what do I do? I don't know what I should do. And I feel like as if I'm in Emma's shoes. I'm in a position where I don't know what to do. My resources are neglected or depleted. And I don't know if I should be going in the direction that I should be going, or if I should sway in another direction. Emma is conflicted in a similar fashion with no one to support her except Ray. And this is what I love about Ray. His character development in the series has been phenomenal. Starting out as the kind of like an anti-hero against Emma during the jailbreak arc, having come a long way in chapter 123, he really evolved in terms of character development because he has been the supportive shoulder that Emma needs during her times of need. Ray has been very supportive of Emma's decision, and he really thought about the most logical solution. And even in this case, he's telling Emma, if you choose either way, you're gonna be the demons are gonna be exterminated, whether you reforge the promise or destroy the plantations. And even if there's gonna be even if the children will run away, even more people will die. So he's just saying to Emma or outlining to her the possible solutions. Either way, he said Norman's plans that's the best solution, just exterminate the demons. Nothing can be done. Norman's correct, and he said that in the most like positive way to Emma. Maybe he's just saying this to make her feel better, knowing that Emma is such in a conflicted position. But his main goal is basically to let Emma speak her mind and emotions, because she's been burying her emotions, so that no one will so that she will not reveal her true emotions against Norman's plans. But then Ray is saying that it's gonna explode anyway. You're different. You can't hide your emotions. Not even from me. I know you very well. I think that's how I took it. They have known each other since they were like 11 years old, and now at the manga, 2 years have passed. They're like now 13 or 12 to 13. Even though they're physically looking like 16 or 17-year-old, they're basically in their teens. But for story purposes, they really are just 13 or 12 years old, 12 to 13, or even at most 14, but they physically look like as if they're 15, 17, 18 years old, just for artistic styles. I guess that's why the creator is bumping up the physicalities or the art style of these characters. Either way, I really love how Ray is being the supportive brother slash possible boyfriend of Emma. I really ship these two in terms of if there is any romance in The Promised Neverland. I really want Emma to end up with Ray in this arc. If I have stopped at this arc, with Norman becoming the anti-hero, I would have loved Emma to be together with Ray. But given right now, the chapter is at its most recent chapter 168. Norman, as you know, he turned over a new leaf. He was able to get into Emma's plans. Emma was able to convince Norman to forget the extinction and let's just move on. I'm gonna still be there with you. I want to walk with you, even though you have just massacred all the demons. So there's really a lot of spoilers in this chapter review, and I'm sorry if I spoiled you on some. I should have said that at the beginning, but I'm really loving this series so much that I have dedicated myself to just covering chapter by chapter, just so I can reread the manga and just so I can internalize or get into the heads of these characters. Even Ray saying that yes, what I do love about Ray's dialogue here, he's saying that if he's gonna go half-hearted, if Emma's gonna go half-hearted with the decision, she's gonna regret it. So that's why he is being the supportive brother slash possible boyfriend to Emma, and that's what I really love about him. Emma is finally saying, I don't want the demons to go extinct. I want to find a way where we don't have to fight. And that's her decision, even though at this point she knows that it's impossible. She really doesn't know what to do. But Ray has been very supportive of her decision. Norman has been their friend since a long time, and whatever goes wrong, or if anything goes wrong, he's gonna be always be supportive to her. And I love that character of Ray, just showcasing his concern and emotions towards Emma is phenomenal. It's fabulous, even to the point of bringing up Muhika and Songju in the discussion, because they can be Muhika and Songju, they can be the let's say, I think what Ray and Emma mentioned is that they're gonna be the exceptions, where even if they do not eat the humans, they can still retain their forms, their demon forms. They can retain their intelligence, and so they're thinking whether that can be a possibility, that their blood, if their blood has a special ability to retain their demon form and their intelligence. So they really want to know more about Muhika and Songju, and I believe bringing that topic up just gives a sliver of hope for Emma, even though she sees right now that it's almost impossible with the seven walls, because it really seems like impossible at this point in the arc, that they might not be able to reach it. Who knows? But then they're really thinking or logical solutions or ways. Even Ray is saying his thoughts that they can be the exceptions, that even if they do not eat people, they can maintain their human form and intelligence. And that's a topic that for Emma is she's seeing that as a sliver of hope. There might be a way for the demons and humans to coexist, as she thought, for this arc, for this or at this point in time. It might be a possibility, but who knows. But what I do love about Emma is that, you know, she never gives up. She's fearless. She's gonna go headstrong on her plans, and no matter what happens, she's gonna just find out a way to make sure that the demons don't get annihilated or exterminated. And how Emma and Ray are brainstorming on this plan is that they're thinking that Norman's plans might fall from the foundation, meaning that from the start Norman's plans might not work because because of the idea that if they destroy the plantations, even if they destroyed the plantations, the demons will remain enemies to the humans because there's just no possibility of coexistence. And it really depends as well, I think, on Ray and Emma's perspective, because as you know, it seems that Norman is their ally at this point, but that's just at the surface. We know Norman we have seen in previous chapters that he's not the person that he used to be. He may seem okay, but he's been through lambda experimentations, as he said. So it really is something that Emma and Ray are questioning at this point. Another thing that I really love about Ray is that he got Emma's positivity. He even said doing something when it's impossible is Emma's specialty. And let's make a future we won't regret. So that's one thing that he caught when he spent with Emma during the 2 years, or during the 2 years. That's something that Emma influences to the people around her, and that's, I believe, is something that is a strong bond of friendship between these two people. And so the chapter ended with them trying to go to Norman's office. Unfortunately, the Lambda plantation experiments, Norman's right-hand people, Vincent, Barbara, and Sislo, are inside, and instead of Norman, they were feel quote-unquote trapped, that they're gonna have to be stuck with these people for the meantime because Norman's not around. Even Emma is saying, where's the boss, instead of Norman. They seem like people who won't do well on Emma and Ray's side. It's really that chapter, one of the pages there showing Sislo, Barbara, and Vincent. It's oh no, where's Norman? Ray, of course, is still on his school side, but Emma's emotions just showcase her distraught, or her shock that Norman's not here. So Barbara, first impressions, or my impression at her at this point in the arc, she's very twisted. She's eating, I think that's demon meat. Sorry, that's demon meat. It's quite big for chicken meat. That's why I think that's demon meat. So that's why I'm saying to you, if you are not prepared for tragedies, action, shonen, battle type manga, then maybe this is not the manga for you. I do love Promise Neverland for its politics and corrupt characters, and how twisted the characters can be, or how untwisted they can become in the near future. Even the slogan that's saying a chance meeting with the confidence, the curtain rises on a tea party, because Sislo and Barbara invited Ray and Emma to have a chat with us, have tea with us. So Ray's not happy with how Barbara and Sislo just let them sit on one of the couches. He's really not happy at all. He really seems bored. He's not interested to get to know Norman's allies or Norman's right-hand people. And Emma is kind of awkward and shy. And even Barbara is saying that they're the goodies from Gracefield. It's as if she's implying that they're food. Really, how people become twisted in such a short time because of lambda experimentations, it's impressively tragic. It's tragic, but at the same time, it's a disaster because it twists your mind and your brain into thinking that that's the world that you know, growing up in a lambda plantation or being experimented on. That's not a pretty sight. That's hell. And Sislo even described in future chapters that that's not even hell. That's that's a graveyard or whatever, that's or something along the line. He's emphasizing that it's worse than hell, how they were experimented in Lambda. And that twist or that phrase from these characters who have backstories, who have tragic backstories because they came from Goodwill Ridge or other plantations, it really brings out how the character develops, in this series, because they started out as good and then not so good, and then they return again as if they were salvaged or as if they were saved. And that's why I love The Promised Neverland, and why I am taking the time to analyze each chapter of the manga, because of the dark stories that it tells and how a person can be quote unquote salvaged in the series. So very interesting. Let me know what you think of chapter 123. Is it your favorite arc in this series, around these chapters when Emma is being in conflict with Norman, arguing head to head, toe to toe. Even the slogan at the beginning is saying, "Those eyes believing in a tomorrow." That slogan alone in the cover chapter, "Those eyes believing in a tomorrow," is implicative. It's indicative of Emma hoping that she can at least save Norman from his future actions of demon extermination. Save Norman himself, save her friends Muhika and Sungju, who are actual demons, and save her friends Gilda, Dawn, and the other children who are cattle children, so that they can escape to the human world. Just goes to show that Emma is this one dedicated female protagonist in a shonen manga who's not going to give up no matter what, even if it's gonna be the impossible. So let me know what you think about the Promised Neverland series, and how are you liking the series so far. Thank you very much, and have a great